Everybody to the FOX11 Talk Now Social Lounge. I am here with Leighton Meester from Making History, and of course you know her from a bunch of other stuff, Gossip Girl. You've done music, Broadway, but what's it like being on a TV comedy?
It's great. It's the best. I've been having a lot of fun. I think it's because I was a huge fan of everybody before I worked with them, but also being on set, it was like every joke you tell. I don't know. I think it's just about having fun and making each other laugh. So hopefully we get everybody else laughing. But yeah, it's so fun.
A new, unique experience.
Yes, it's very nice and light.
And you play Paul Revere's daughter, Deb.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Deborah. No, but it is
Deb.
Colonial name.
When you get a call that you got this character, do you quickly brush up on American history? Because let's be honest, all of us could use a good refresher on American history.
This is a period in time that I find very fascinating, and I feel was kind of hammered in school. I certainly don't know everything there is to know, obviously, but because we are not only time travel sci-fi wise, not taking it too seriously, we're also not taking the historic element of too seriously either. We're just sort of having fun and being loose about it.
Right.
Obviously, because you see Sam Adams and John Hancock are two main characters that time travel a little bit with us, and although they are incredibly intelligent, learned men, they are also drunk toddlers.
Yeah, they're funny in a sense.
Yeah, they in modern times, they're absolutely incapacitated. They can't do anything. They're where is that music coming from? The speaker. They don't get it. But obviously, it's just kind of a joke about, colonial men, the founding fathers.
Right.
But for the character, I gotta be honest, I didn't do a ton of accurate research. But there really isn't that much to know about Deb because Paul Revere did have, many people of his time, lots of children, and more than half of them died.
I saw that he had 13 kids. He had 9 daughters.
He was working, or maybe he wasn't working. I don't know. He was having fun. Somebody was working.
Yeah, because he had 9 daughters, and Deborah actually was a name of one of his daughters.
Right. I don't really know that there's much more to know. I know that in the show it's kind of sad actually. She has this sort of strained relationship with her father because he's you do laundry and you cook and you're going to get married and that's it. And realistically, I'm playing somebody my own age, but she would probably have been 16, which is you just need to be texting at that time. You're not supposed to be getting married. So it's interesting. She doesn't feel like she belongs in that time period.
Right.
She's very educated beyond her station in life. She's taught herself different languages and music, and
she's also, she's pretty empowered because she was throwing axes, she's shooting guns, she's doing a lot of things that...
Yeah, she's the heroine of the show.
And she jokes about, women, in the past compared to the future. It makes a lot of
and when we time travel within, within the show, even we go to Chicago in 1919, I'm talking to Al Capone's wife, and she's when we got married when I was 16, and I'm they still do that? And she's yeah, because it's so recent, and yet it hasn't really changed. You know?
And now we got one question from Alfonsina. She asks, can you describe Deb in 3 words?
Let's see. Childlike, wild, and naive.
To a sense.
To a sense. It's weird. I don't know. That's hard. It's not a good...
Well, she's naive when they come back and they have cell phones and they're taking pictures, and she's kind of
Well, she also believes that Dan has invented everything.
Right, that's true.
She's your phones are here. They have your television.
And Dan is your
Dan is my
boyfriend from the future.
From present day, he is the future to me, and he comes back in time, and because of our relationship...
And he's dropping all these quotes from movies and one-liners, and he's really kind of sucking you in. You're wow, how did you write that? And he's actually just quoting Titanic theme song.
Exactly. He's singing every hit love song from the past 20 years, and yet I'm just he's the best. But the truth is that he also just has the mentality of a modern man, which is he's willing to speak politics with me and treat me as an equal, and so I'm all the more in love with him. And
Making History is really a show about what we would all do if we would go back to the past,
which is get a girlfriend and lie to her about everything.
Well, I mean, to a sense. But we would bring back cell phones, and we'd be, we'd...
Yeah, I don't even know what you would think. I think that at that time, maybe because of I don't know if there was Telegram, but certainly people were writing letters, but the idea of fast information, it just seems like they couldn't even conceive of it.
Right.
Like, I think that maybe they could conceive of a car and possibly a telephone, but, like, internet, I don't know that they could think of
It's a hard
that.
concept to grasp.
So, like, yeah, when they're writing, like, the Declaration of the Independence and the Constitution, they can't really think, like, oh, there's going to be, like, internet. And there's going to be, I mean, in this case, like, automatic weapons and so forth, you know? It's like...
That's true. One automatic weapon
airplanes.
could do a lot of damage in the past.
Right. They were, like, talking about muskets like they're mass-killing machines because they shoot a bullet a minute.
Now, Danny has a question for you. If you could live in any time period, in any country, where would you want to live?
I would want to live in this time period in this country right now. Or just, like, extend Obama. So just like the last 8 years, just keep them going. Because I was really lucky. I mean, my entire 20s was spent during Obama's administration, and you know, I don't know. I don't know what we're headed towards, but I don't know if it's going to be hard to beat. I think it's not going to be beaten.
Lots of people are writing in, asking questions. Let's see. Favorite costume from the show so far?
Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you my favorite, and I'll tell you my least favorite. My favorite was probably just comfort-wise. We do go, coming up there is a 2-arc episode about going to 1919 Chicago and, like, hanging with Al Capone, and we get to wear, like, dapper zoot suit, like, fashion, and I wear, like, beaded dresses. It's, like, kind of a flapper look. We go to speakeasies, and I get to, like, shoot a Tommy gun. So that was really fun, but the most comfortable thing I would say is living in, or like going back to the 90s. We go to when fashion was really good, where there's like acid wash jeans.
Zip off jeans.
Yes, and like, because you don't know when you might need shorts.
Exactly. If it gets too hot, you always have that option.
Yeah. And then the least comfortable for sure is the corset and like dress, trying to like do pretty much anything, include breathe or speak or think.
And the show has you doing tons of things. I mean, you're shooting guns, you're riding horses. I mean,
I'm hunting.
You're hunting. How fun is it just to do all that stuff you wouldn't really have the option to do?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's she's kind of like because she's like that, she has also this like weird superhuman strength where like we've even put Adam Pally like on a pulley so that it appears that I'm pulling him out of a hole like with one finger, and he's just kind of like, I can't do anything, and like when I even hug, he's like, ow, like I'm just a very, very strong human being. I don't know, but mentally and physically.
So you were born in Florida.
Yes.
You moved to New York. You come to LA. What was your favorite of those 3 places that you've lived? LA. I mean,
so
the
far.
weather here is just the best.
I think it's that. I think like, I don't know. I was born in Texas, but I did grow up in Florida, and every time I go back there, I always have forgotten, like, oh yeah, this is extreme weather. It's extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I looked it up. It's like 29 degrees in New York right now.
Yeah.
And in Florida, it's always like 100% humidity, so you just walk out and you start sweating.
Yeah. No, I know. When I was a little kid, I never noticed it. And when I was a kid, I lived in New York as well, and then in my 20s, and I never really thought about it. Now when I go back, I'm like, it's freezing or it's hot. I don't know. I'm just like, I've become a baby. I need to be like in temperature controlled environments at all times.
Another question coming in: comedy compared to drama. Which one do you like doing better?
The most enjoyable is comedy, but I think that it goes without saying. I think comedy wouldn't be funny if there wasn't a hint of humanity, and along with that comes a lot of drama. And I mean, in our show, we have, nothing is perfect. Like we delve into the relationship of Dan and Deb, and although it's very sweet and very endearing and loving, there's also a lot of realistic conversations and conflict.
I mean, the show even brings up a lot of stuff about America as a whole, because they had a whole episode about gun control kind of, and how Americans love their guns, and so if we take away their guns, it might spark a war.
Yeah, which is exactly what happens. No, I think that it's nice because we're talking about things, but using a very disarming way through humor, making people laugh, and it's not so in your face. Like, it's more nuanced, but I think that that's the way to reach people. But like like I was saying, I think it's more fun to do comedy.
Now, another question: do you relate more to Deb or Blair? And Blair's your character from Gossip Girl.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone knows that.
I think Ultimately, I would have to say I relate to Deborah more. I think that she is just a little bit more, more of an archetype and a little bit less of a caricature. I think maybe at some point in my life I could relate more to Blair, but at this point I feel like, I don't know, maybe she's a little bit more mature and she's much more kind. So.
And are we going to be seeing any Gossip Girl reunions coming up? I know Netflix does a great job, and all these different streaming sites are rebooting these franchises.
Right. They do stream the show.
Right.
So even people that I meet now, they're like 12, and they're like, I love Gossip Girl. I'm like, you were too when it came out. Like, it came out, when they were a toddler. They definitely shouldn't have been watching it when they were a toddler. So I think that that's good enough for now. I don't see a reunion happening anytime soon because I'm busy with this little venture.
It's true.
You never know.
Last thing, what do you want to say to your fans? Obviously, tons of people are coming in writing questions. So what do you want to say to them?
Let's just find one question. What inspires you? Do you know how much we love you? And do you think you'll ever press your album on vinyl?
Funniest scene to film. Do you have any plans for a date?
For a date?
For your second album?
Oh.
There you go. It keeps moving, so I couldn't.
Should I put all this into an answer? I just want to say thank you to everyone who has just been the best and most awesome fan, and everyone's so supportive and loving and wonderful. And every time I meet anybody or communicate in this is an awesome way, I just love it. I'm so appreciative and happy that all of you guys are enjoying the new show. And yes, I am going to have a second album, hopefully within the next year. And what else did they ask?
I think you covered a lot of it.
That's all.
Yeah,
Anyway, what inspires me? You.
Your fans.
Yes.
I think
Okay,
people could be asking millions of questions, so thank you for tuning in. Again, if you catch Leighton every Sunday, Making History, 8:30, FOX11, right here. So tune in. It's a very funny show. You're going to want to see it. All right.
Yay.
Thank you.